Can a hip-hop legend who once ruled the charts end up locked away for life? Sean Diddy Combs, the man behind Bad Boy Records, Ciroc Vodka, and a larger-than-life persona, is fighting to keep his freedom in a Manhattan courtroom that's got the world buzzing. From allegations of sex trafficking to whispers of wild, drug-fueled parties called freak-offs, this trial is peeling back the curtain on a man who seemed untouchable. Just a few years ago, Diddy was accepting a Global Icon Award at the MTV VMAs, toasting to his empire. Now he's facing charges that could lock him up forever. What's the truth behind the headlines? Is Diddy a mastermind of a criminal underworld, or is he being targeted for his wealth and fame? Buckle up, because we're diving into every jaw-dropping detail of this case, from explosive courtroom moments to the rumors lighting up the internet. And trust me, those freak-off stories, they're unlike anything you've heard before. Let's unravel the saga of Diddy's downfall. Diddy's story isn't just about music. It's about power, ambition, and a lifestyle that pushed boundaries. Born in Harlem in 1969, he grew up in the shadow of New York's gritty streets, but his hustle was unmatched. By his 20s, he was a music mogul, a red carpet regular, and a name synonymous with success. But as his star rose, so did the whispers. Stories of lavish parties, questionable deals, and a temper that could flare behind closed doors started to circulate. Were these just the trappings of fame or signs of something more troubling? To understand this trial, we need to start at the beginning, how Diddy built his empire and why some say it was always on shaky ground. Sean Combs didn't just become Diddy, he invented him. In the early 90s, he founded Bad Boy Records, a label that reshaped hip-hop, with artists like Notorious B.I.G., Faith Evans, and Mary J. Blige Bad Boy churned out hits like Juicy and I'll Be Missing You, defining an era. Diddy wasn't just a producer. He was a performer, dropping his own albums like No Way Out in 1997, which went platinum 7 times. His charisma lit up music videos, award shows, and even Hollywood with roles in films like Monsters Ball, but music was only part of the story. Diddy turned his brand into a business empire, launching Sean John Clothing, securing a $100 million deal with Ciroc Vodka, and even hosting MTV's Making the Band. By 2010, he was a cultural force, dating stars like Jennifer Lopez and throwing star-studded parties that became the stuff of legend. Those parties, though, they're where the rumors started. Posts from as early as the 2000s described Diddy's white parties in the Hamptons and Miami as epic but excessive, with A-listers mingling amid free-flowing champagne and whispers of wild after-hours events. Some called them glamorous. Others hinted at something darker, exclusive gatherings where boundaries blurred. By 2023, Diddy was still riding high, dropping the Love album, Off the Grid, and performing at the VMAs. But behind the scenes, cracks were forming. Lawsuits from former associates, including his ex-nanny and a clothing brand, alleged unpaid wages and misconduct. Online, fans speculated, was Diddy's empire built on more than just talent? The trial would soon put those questions center stage. But first, let's dive into the allegations that shocked the world. The freak-off allegations. When the prosecution stepped up in Manhattan's federal court, they didn't hold back. Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Slavic called Diddy the leader of a criminal enterprise that operated for 2 decades, using power, violence, and fear to control women. At the core of their case, allegations of freak-offs, drug-fueled sex marathons that sound like they belong in a scandal sheet, not a courtroom. According to witnesses, these weren't just parties. They were orchestrated events where Diddy allegedly coerced women, including his ex-girlfriends Cassandra Cassie Ventura and another woman known as Jane, into performing with male escorts while he watched. The details are intense. Days-long sessions, drugs like cocaine and ketamine, and women who felt they couldn't say no. The evidence is chilling. Hotel surveillance from 2016 shows Diddy attacking Ventura in a hallway. Bank records reveal payments to escorts. Text messages, read aloud in court, show Diddy giving orders like telling Jane to do her job. Slavic painted a picture of a man who used his wealth to silence victims, even threatening their families. Social media exploded with reactions. Some ex-users called it a Hollywood horror story, while others questioned if the women were exaggerating for clout. The prosecution's 34 witnesses, including Ventura and Jane, described a pattern of control, with one claiming Diddy didn't take no for an answer. But was this coercion or something else? The defense says it's a misunderstanding, and their argument is turning heads. Cassie Ventura's story. Cassandra Ventura, known as Cassie, was the prosecution's star witness, and her testimony hit like a thunderbolt. A singer signed to Bad Boy in 2005, she dated Diddy for over a decade. a relationship that seemed glamorous but, she says, was a nightmare. In court, she described feeling trapped, with Diddy controlling her career, finances, and life. The 2016 hotel assault, captured on CCTV and leaked by CNN in 2024, became the trial's defining moment. The grainy footage shows Diddy chasing Ventura down a hallway, throwing her to the ground and kicking her. Cassie testified this wasn't a one-off. Physical abuse was frequent, often tied to her refusal to participate in freak-offs. She said Diddy once threatened to off her if she left. Online, the response was polarized. X-posts praised Cassie as a survivor, with one user writing, "She's exposing a monster." Others speculated she stayed for fame, pointing to her quick settlement of a $20 million lawsuit in 2023. Cassie's career arc, from her hit Me You to fading from the spotlight, added fuel to the debate. Was she a victim or did she play the game? Her emotional testimony, where she broke down recalling the hotel incident, left Diddy's daughter Chance fleeing the courtroom in tears. The prosecution used this to hammer their point. Diddy's power created fear, but the defense has a bold counterclaim that's got everyone talking. The defense fights back. Mark Agnifilo, Diddy's attorney, isn't buying the prosecution's narrative. He calls it a gross exaggeration, insisting Diddy's lifestyle was consensual, a swingers thing, not a crime. In a fiery closing argument, he pointed to text messages where Jane wrote, "I always had fun at hotel nights," and Cassie expressed love for Diddy. Agnifilo painted Cassie as a gangster, not a victim, claiming she used a burner phone to secretly contact Kid Cudi, juggling both men. She wasn't afraid. She was in control, he told the jury, a line that sparked heated debates, with some calling it victim blaming. Agnifilo didn't shy away from the domestic violence, admitting Diddy crossed lines but arguing it's not racketeering or trafficking. He highlighted texts where Cassie and Diddy professed love, calling their relationship a modern love story. Online fans are split. Some see a passionate but flawed romance, while others say the texts show manipulation. Agnifilo's sarcastic take on the 2024 home raids, joking about seizing baby oil and Astroglide, drew chuckles but also criticism for downplaying serious allegations. The defense's big question, is this about crime or something else entirely? Let's talk money. Money and motives. This isn't about a crime, it's about money, Agnifilo declared, pointing to the civil lawsuits piling up against Diddy. Cassie's 2023 lawsuit, settled for $20 million in a day, demanded $30 million initially. Other suits, including one alleging assault of a minor, have fueled speculation of a coordinated attack on Diddy's $400 million fortune. X-posts are ablaze with theories. Some call the accusers gold diggers, while others believe they're exposing a pattern of abuse enabled by wealth. Agnifilo argued the criminal case only exists because of these lawsuits, noting none of the alleged victims called police. They called lawyers. The 2024 home raids, which found drugs and lubricants, were mocked by Agnifilo as a circus, but the prosecution says they prove a criminal operation. Social media's buzzing with memes about Diddy's baby oil stash, but some posts speculate the item's point disparity could hide darker truths. The lawsuits, combined with the trial's evidence, paint a complex picture: money and power on one side, coercion and control on the other. What's really driving this case? Let's look at the people around Diddy, the inner circle's role. The prosecution claims Diddy didn't act alone. They allege a small army of employees, security, assistants, even a chief of staff, enabled the freak-offs by booking escorts, delivering drugs, and silencing witnesses. Capricorn Clark, a former assistant, testified Diddy kidnapped her and owed her $80,000, with HR ignoring her complaints. Other witnesses described employees arranging travel and cleaning up after events. The prosecution says this was a well-oiled machine, with Diddy even tampering with witnesses post-lawsuit. The defense counters there's no criminal conspiracy, just employees doing their jobs in a consensual, extravagant world. Agnifilo called the inner circle loyal staff, not criminals, and dismissed claims of coercion as unproven. X-posts speculate about celebrity connections, with names like Kanye West and Jay-Z floating around, but these remain rumors. As the jury deliberates, the stakes couldn't be higher. What's next for Diddy? Conclusion. With the jury now deciding Diddy's fate, the world waits to see if he'll walk free or face life in prison. The prosecution's case, 34 witnesses, damning footage, paints him as a predator. The defense insists it's a story of love, money, and a misunderstood lifestyle. Diddy's legacy hangs in the balance. Can a hip-hop icon survive this storm? Share your thoughts below and stay tuned for updates.